Teresa Caudill's Junior English 3 class, and the majority of them are going to be taking the ACT tomorrow, so she's going to be giving us tips and tricks on preparing for the ACT and being successful when doing so.
And a lot of you have already taken it, yeah, or really concentrating on it for days, but a lot of you have already taken the ACT, but it's here again. So some of you are going to get up early in the morning, and you're going to be ready to go, and you're going to go take the ACT. And it's in different locations for you all this time. Usually it's 1 or 2, but I think it's kind of spread out so everybody can get in. Here are some last-minute tips and tricks for the ACT. The first one is have your stuff together. When you go in there in the morning, have everything that you need for this test, have it all together, have it ready to go so you don't have all that pressure of those last-minute things that you need to get together. Sometimes when you wake up in the morning, the last thing you want to do is hunt for a pencil or hunt for all those little things that don't mean a whole lot. I'm rambling, but that's okay. All right. Number 1, be equipped. Have your admission ticket. It's the slip of paper. Do you still get slips of paper or do you get like something on computer? How do you get those now? So you're going to get a slip of paper. They call it an admission ticket. You're going to take that ticket in, and hopefully somebody will be there at maybe a table right as soon as you go in, and you will be able to present that to them. You're going to need a photo ID. Now ACT, don't you have to send that to them early, your photo ID?
No.
You can though, can't you?
Yeah.
And then they put it on something. Sharpened pencils. They always say take 2 number 2 pencils. I think I would grab a whole handful if I could. You know, now you're going to look a little cheesy if you go in there with your pencils. But, you know, get 3 or 4 pencils. So you've got them and you're ready to go. Make sure you have a number 2 pencil. Some of those lead pencils, I know you love them. But make sure that they're going to write really dark when you go in there to take this test. You have to have an approved calculator. There's a list of them if you look on your ACT where you sign in to go, not on the computer, where you do fill out all your information. Make sure it has fresh batteries, and you might even want to take some extras with you. And a watch. Not a watch that makes noise, though. If you have a watch that beeps every hour, I don't think those are cool anymore, so you probably don't have those. But if you have a watch that makes noise, you can't have those. Take a watch and try to make sure it's a watch with a second hand on it. Remember, when that proctor calls 5 minutes, that's a long time. Don't freak out and start, oh my God, I've got to go through every one of these. Take a deep breath. She just said 5 minutes. I can do a lot in 5 minutes, and you can. Don't start guessing until you get down to about a minute. And if you have a watch, you can do that. But if you take a watch, don't get so focused on that watch that you really forget what you're doing. So just tell yourself, oh, okay, I feel like I'm rounding this out. I probably need to start guessing. Okay. All right, number 2 is don't cram. A lot of students think, oh, okay, it's time for the ACT. Today's Friday. I better go home and study all night long. Don't do that. If you haven't trained your brain by now to be able to answer these questions and have your strategies all lined up in your head, it's probably not going to help you to go home on a Friday night and cram. Now, what do you do on a Friday night for the ACT, that is? You want to go home on a Friday night and just review it real quick. Make sure you know the sections. They're in alphabetical order. You're going to have your English, then you're going to have your math, then your reading, then your science. So just have that straight in your head. Okay, I'm ready for this. Science is mostly charts and graphs. Math goes from the easiest to the hardest. English, okay, what's my strategy? Am I going to read the entire English section and then go back? That's a strategy that I learned this week. Did I talk about that with you all?
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about that one. So that was a strategy for the English. Maybe you read the entire section and then you go back and answer the questions. So basically on Friday night, what are you going to do tonight when you go home if you're going to take the ACT tomorrow? Don't get out 16 ACT prep books and think that you're going to be able to do all these practice tests. Basically, all you're going to do tonight is just, maybe you look over the times. I've got 45 minutes on this section. I've got 40 minutes on whatever. So that way you're not really cramming and your brain is not going to soak all of it up anyway. Number 3 is a simple thing that most people might forget. Well, it's December, so you're probably not going to forget your jacket, but take a jacket in, especially if you take it at our local college because the auditorium gets really cold. So you might need a jacket. Don't take a blanket. It's going to look like you're trying to cheat or something. You know, used to at school, I've not seen one in a long time, but we had a group that wanted to bring blankets all the time. Don't take a blanket. Take a jacket that you can throw on if you need to and you can take off. Don't take a Carhartt jacket that's real stiff and you're not comfortable. Take some old, floppy, sweatshirt material kind of jacket that you can just kind of wrap yourself up in. Something that you could be really comfortable in. So that would be a good one. Number 4, arrive early. Don't get there at 5 o'clock because nobody's going to be there. But get there a few minutes early just so you can take a breath. Get yourself together. I got my pencils, got my calculator. I got this. I'm good. I'm good to go. If you get there late, then you're just going to feel like, oh my God, I'm not ready for this. It's going to make you feel rushed, and you're just going to be really overwhelmed, and then you don't want that. All right, so now you're in your class. They've divided you out. Do they put you alphabetical or at the college and the high schools? Is that kind of how they set you, or is it just you go where you want to go? They put you. They arrange you how you want to go. So when you go in, they've arranged you. You're sitting in your seat. They've given you your books, and it's time to get started. You're answering your questions. Number 5, don't spend too much time on one question. If you just don't know the answer, move on. Remember, these are your ACT books. You're not going to get them to take home, but you can write in them. You can mark out the ones that you immediately can eliminate. If you can get it down to 2, then you might be okay to spend a little bit more time just trying to figure them out. If you can't get it down to 2, skip it and come back. But be really careful with that because you don't want to mess up your bubble sheet. Be real careful. That would be horrible if you realize at the end that you have messed those numbers up. Sometimes you get nervous and that might happen. 6 and 7 are my favorite tips. And you all know this. I love these. I took 6 and 7 from a book that I ordered and I never did get it in, but I will. They spent time with, I think it was 6 students who had received 36s on the ACT. That was their composite. And they asked them, what are some of the tips that you could give other students that helped you? One of the students was from Kentucky. I told you all that. He had a perfect score on the ACT. One of their tips was called train your brain. What you want to do when you go in there, you want to train your brain. You want to trick it. You're going to trick your brain into thinking this is the most fabulous thing you have ever done in your entire life. And a lot of you are thinking, that's crazy. There's no way I can do that. Yes, you can. It's 4 hours of your life. Train your brain to think, I've got this. I can do this. I'm confident in myself. I'm prepared. I'm ready to go. I got my comfortable little jacket. Nobody else in the world exists, and I can do this. Train your brain to be confident and to think that you know the times, you know when you get a break, you know the sections of the test. Most of you have taken the ACT before, so you're ready to go. But train your brain to think this is going to be one of the greatest experiences of your life. Number 7, lean in reading. Do not flop your body down and just lay back like you cruise in the park. Okay, because it's not good for your brain at this point for these 4 hours. What you want to do is you want to sit straight at your desk with your feet flat on the floor. Okay, not like Thomas. Thomas is sitting all back, he's got his feet up. That's fine for what we're doing. But when you take the ACT, your feet are flat on the floor, your hands are on your desk, you've got your pencils, you're ready to go. It's called lean in reading, especially on that reading part. Now, sometimes on the math, you might have to be a Thomas for just a minute. And lean back, take a deep breath. I can do this. But then when you're ready to focus again, put your body back into it. And it will help you. You can do this. Lean in reading. I am so excited about reading about ants. Ants are the most amazing critters in the whole world. Okay? There's your train your brain. You got this. So you got your paper. Here's your lean in reading. You're sitting at your desk. Feet are on the floor. I've got this. I've got to read about ants. Okay? So you're ready to go. You're convincing yourself. All right, number 8. Practice, practice, practice. This kind of comes before these. You all are my students who are going to just excel. You're the students who are going to come back and donate money to me to build my library. So, that doesn't come by just saying, all right, take the ACT. Okay, I'll go in there and take it. It comes by practicing. We've already said you can't cram. So what do you mean by practice? Don't go home and spend 5 nights a week going through multiple books. Just have in your mind, one night I'm going to do a practice English section. And I'm going to go over it with myself. 30 minutes. I'm not going to do anything tomorrow night because I have to work out. Okay, Wednesday night, I'm going to look at a science section. I'm not even going to finish the whole section. I'm just going to look at this chart and this graph. Space it out. Teach yourself that, these are the things that are going to be on there and be ready for it. Go to ACT.org and do the question of the day. Today's question is a math question. You do not want me to do that with you. But go on there and do that math question. Sometimes they're a little confusing because it just gives you a little snippet. And on those reading sections, you have to scroll up and down. But that can help you. So go online. There are lots of different sites that can help you. This is the rule that you all are tired of me talking about, but I don't really care. It's the ACT. It's a big deal. It means money for your families. It means money for you. It is your future. But just remember, it is such a small part of your life. You can lean in. You can train your brain. You can study to be successful for this little teeny tiny portion of your life. So just keep it in your head the entire time. In the great scheme of everything that I'm going to go through in my entire life, from that wall to that wall, the ACT is not even a little tiny grain of sand. So don't beat yourself up over it. You can do this. Be confident. Help each other out. Call your friend. Make sure they're up. Make sure they're ready to go. Are there any questions about tomorrow? Because you all are going to be fabulous. Every junior will take the ACT in April. March. It's early in March. It's like the first week. If it snows, and it did last year, they'll change the date. There was one more thing I wanted to say. If you have not taken it, sign up for the February one so you'll know what it looks like. Even if you've already met your benchmarks, and this is really not just for Trenton and them, even if you've met your benchmarks, the only one that really counts for the school is the one that you take in March. So you want to make sure that you get really focused for that one. I've always been told it's really difficult compared to some of the others. So, any questions about getting ready for tomorrow? All right.
What time will we get out?
What time? It's usually about 4 hours. If they get started about 8, it's usually about 12.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hardly ever hear about it running over 12. And what we would do in high school, because I was a dork, a bunch of friends and I would go, we would take it together, and then we would go out and eat after the ACT or something. So that might be something that you do. Okay?